Hello and welcome to my latest video, and my latest video features a tough and hard punching heavyweight contender from the early 1900s. Okay, that is one Tom Sharkey. Now, Tom Sharkey, like some of the fighters I've highlighted and will highlight, doesn't have as big a career as many of the fighters from his time, but he certainly had a very tough career for its size. So let's go through his main opponents. So Tom Sharkey, okay, fought the great Bob Fitzsimmons, okay, the three-weight champion, on 2 occasions, scoring 1 win, 1 loss and no draws. He also twice fought James J. Corbett, okay, on 2 occasions, scoring 1 win with 1 draw, and he twice fought James J. Jeffries, okay, losing both fights. So already there, really, in Fitzsimmons, Corbett and Jeffries, he's fought 3 of the greatest heavyweights of his time. Next up is Joe Choyinski, okay, the Hall of Famer. Big shout out to Drunk Irishman and Martin Dunstan. Good to see you guys. Joe Choyinski, okay, now Tom Sharkey fought Choyinski in a trilogy, scoring 2 wins with no losses and 1 draw. And he also fought and defeated another good name, okay, Charles Kid McCoy, defeating the dangerous light heavyweight contender and middleweight contender. Charles Kid McCoy was a very good fighter from his time. Quick hands, good puncher, the whole works. He was a very hard fighter to beat on his day, and of course he was one of the few men, along with young Corbett, the first who defeated the great Tommy Ryan. But already there, okay, Tom Sharkey has held wins over Fitzsimmons, Corbett, Choyinski and Charles Kid McCoy. He also fought Irish puncher Peter Marr, okay, fighting to a draw, and he twice fought and defeated heavyweight contender, the puncher Joe Goddard. Next up is another middleweight to heavyweight fighter, Nick Burley, who was a good puncher, a bit more vulnerable himself, but still a good puncher. Tom Sharkey fought to a draw, and he 3 times fought tough heavyweight contender Gus Rulin, okay, scoring 1 win with 2 losses and no draws. The final 2 names on here, the first is the vulnerable but heavy punching Mexican Pete Everett, and the final name on here is Jack Monroe. So basically there I've highlighted 19 fights there. Now it's a fairly split record, although what happened in those fights is he fought a lot of good opposition. Even when you look at the top 5 names on there in the fight series against them, that is a tough run of fights. Fighting McCoy and Choyinski, Jeffries, Corbett and Fitzsimmons in multiple fights. So anyway, Tom Sharkey scored 8 wins, 7 losses and 4 draws from those 19 fights highlighted there. The final boss, shout out BL, what happened to the channel? I took it down. I took the channel down, and I've started a new one here. I have a number of reasons for that, but I'm not going into it. So anyway, on to, okay, my first slide. Now, in terms of knockouts, okay, Tom Sharkey scored 35 KOs in his career. 22 of them were in 3 rounds or less, and 11 were in the first round. So he did score a lot of knockouts from his fight total, and he has a high knockout rate from his win percentage, knockout percentage from his wins, sorry, I'll say. Now, against KOs and against champions, Tom Sharkey scored 0. He did score 2 KOs against Hall of Famers and 4 KOs against pounders. Of course, as pre-rating era, he scored 0 KOs over rated fighters. And in terms of rounds fought, he didn't fight a lot of rounds for his era either, fighting a total of 281 rounds. 25 of those were title fight rounds and 68 were rounds against champions. Against Hall of Famers, he hit nearly 100 rounds with a total of 97, and he fought a total of 114 rounds against pounders, but again on the rated opponents, 0s against top 10, top 3 and ring champions, due to being pre-rating era. So on to his record against champions. Tom Sharkey had 6 fights against champions, scoring 2 wins with 3 losses and 1 draw. He defeated 2 individual champions, Bob Fitzsimmons and James J. Corbett. Tom Sharkey did not score any knockouts over either of those Hall of Famers individually. And when we go on to the Hall of Fame category, we see Sharkey has more fights against Hall of Famers than champions. This was partially due to the fact there wasn't, when he was originally fighting, even the original 8 weight divisions. The light heavyweight division came in early 1900s, and the flyweight lineal line, even though there were versions of a flyweight division across Europe and certain other places, there wasn't the official lineal line until the 1910s, of course, when Jimmy Wilde was anointed the first lineal flyweight champion that he held from 16 to 23. So Ultimately, he fought more Hall of Famers than champions. So, Tom Sharkey has a record of 10 fights against Hall of Famers with 5 wins, 3 losses and 2 draw. He defeated 4 individual Hall of Famers. They were Joe Choyinski, Bob Fitzsimmons, James J. Corbett and Charles Kid McCoy. And he scored knockouts or stoppage over 2 of those Hall of Famers individually, Joe Choyinski and Charles Kid McCoy. And when we go to the pound for pound slide, he has more fights, a total of 13 with a severe winning record of 7 wins, 3 losses and 3 draws. And Tom Sharkey defeated 5 individual pound for pounders. They were Joe Choyinski, Bob Fitzsimmons, James J. Corbett, Joe Goddard and Charles Kid McCoy. And he scored knockouts or stoppage over 3 of those pound for pounders, Joe Goddard, Joe Choyinski and Charles Kid McCoy. So there's his more niche opponent breakdowns there on Champions, Hall of Famers and pound for pounders, following on of course from his main career breakdown of opponents. When we go on to rated fighters, this is a quick one, okay, because this pre-rating era there were no ratings, so he has zeros against top 10, top 3 and ring champions, and thus defeated 0 rated fighters and knocked out 0 rated fighters individually. However, had the ring rankings being around then, Corbett, Fitzsimmons, Jeffries, a whole number of them would have been ring champions, but sadly the ratings don't go back that far. So when we go on to our next slide, okay, title fight record now. Tom Sharkey had 1 title fight. It was a defeat, albeit a tough fight, but it was a defeat. Thus he scored 0 title defences and 0 title fight KOs. Tom Sharkey scored no wins against top 10 fighters, top 3 fighters or ring champions. And he also scored 0 wins against champions, Hall of Famers and pound for pounders in title fights, due to having no wins in there. So on to world titles one. Okay, Tom Sharkey captured no world titles, therefore he was never lineal champion nor undisputed champion. So there's the video on my latest heavyweight, Tom Sharkey. I'm getting ready to start unleashing some more fighters from the other divisions, down to bantam, of course. As people know, follow me last channel, flyweight kicks in 1910, 1930. I'd started on the flyweights. I had 3 or 4 of them out already, but the flyweights will come in the next period, and I'm starting to think when I've got to the end of the 1910 to 1930 period, I'm going to open it up and just add any fighters in I want. The modern guys like Pacquiao and Floyd, the intermediate guys like Monzon and Ali, Larry Holmes, etc. Archie Moore, Ike Williams, just add in whoever I want at that point. I'm still debating that. I may just think, you know what, no, I'll stick to it and go from 30 to 50, but I'll see at the time. But I'm cracking on with 1890, 1910 era for now. The videos are off, ongoing, and will continue until my project is finished of 1,000 career videos minimum. So there's Tom Sharkey. More videos coming over coming days, weeks and months. I am the Boxing Librarian. Big shout out to everyone in the chat, and I'm out for now. Everyone please take care and be well wherever you are.